Hi, folks, and welcome into another edition of This Week in Pearl. I am your host, Frank Hutton, and I'm excited today that we're going to go under the dome because there's a lot to talk about there. We're going to have our esteemed guest in today, Representative Gene Newman and Senate Pro Temp Dean Kirby. We're going to talk about the tax bill that was passed, HB 1, as well as PERS and the new Tier 5. So you're definitely going to want to stick around for that, so don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to bring it into them. So we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mayor Wyndham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Welcome back, everybody, into This Week in Pearl, where we're going under the dome this morning with our esteemed guest, Representative Gene Newman and Senate Pro Tem Dean Kirby. Welcome in.
Thank you. Good to
One
be
more,
here.
one more again.
One more.
We got what, 13 days?
13 days.
Not that we're counting.
No, nobody's keeping up with that. We have 13 days to go.
Unless we extend the session.
Which I don't, that's not.
Not likely.
We have every year for the last 4 or 5 years.
So it is possible, but on your calendar, you've got a lot of stuff kind of coming through conference and right now. So does it look like it's going to, what's the temperature?
Well, first off, all those in conference, I think most all the conferees have been named. The 3 from the House, 3% on each bill. And we've got about, well, counting, let's see, I'm less than 200 probably now, I would think. Mm-hmm. So that's a long ways from over 3,500, whatever it was. Yeah, we're getting there.
Y'all
a lot of those will die in conference.
Will they?
Yes.
Okay.
We will not be able to agree. And that's just the way it is.
Right.
So,
well,
not that Mississippi's any different. Every state's the same.
Well, y'all have agreed, and it's headed to the governor's desk right now. HB 1, the tax, the elimination of the income tax.
We didn't know we were agreeing.
Who would like to take that one up? Gene, you want to take that one up and share, like, what in the world? We have a tax
took
bill.
the Senate's version up and passed that. they took our bill, HB 1, which I'm a co-sponsor of. They took HB 1 and they put the language that they wanted in it, and so it does eliminate the income tax over a long period of time. It's so the first trigger, regardless of what the first trigger is, 2030. Mm-hmm. So at that point we're down to 3%, right? We'll be at 4% next year, and then we'll go down to 3%.
That's right.
And then from that point, and it's going down 0.25% a year. Mm-hmm. And then from that point forward, it has some triggers, but the triggers kind of are ineffective now. But regardless, it's spread out over. It takes a total of 11 years to eliminate the income tax.
Okay.
So nobody's just willy-nilly just going out there whacking it out and doing away with it. So it's a controlled, steady formula that gets us out of it. And here's the reality. I mean, there was a mistake made, but that's just a mistake that just could happen to anybody anytime. But but here's the reality. Every year, the legislature, House and the Senate, goes to the legislature in February and January on the second Tuesday of the first Tuesday of the second. I ought to confuse myself.
First Tuesday.
First Tuesday following the first Monday.
Right, the
of
first
January.
Tuesday after the first Monday. So,
Yeah. Right.
So we go in
Yeah.
every year. So whether we're still there or not, regardless, when the time comes along, if there's a need, they will fix it. I mean, they're not going to let the state run completely out of money,
Right.
trying to eliminate the income tax.
Right.
And they're not going to let the state get all in trouble. We have an amendment in our Constitution that says we have to have a balanced budget. So we're going to fix it regardless of what happens. So, the way they had tried to fix it, they tried to put hard triggers in it. And I hate to say it like this, but Mr. Math would not have been proud of me, because when I read the
me.
bill, I missed it.
Everyone missed it.
Everybody missed it.
Except one person obviously caught it.
Somebody caught it. I don't know whether it was in the House or whether it was in the governor's office, but somebody caught it and said, "Hey, y'all need to pass that," because those triggers are ineffective. It's just a decimal point, being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and anyway. But regardless of the snafu, it's still
It's passed.
It's passed.
Typographical error.
and
that's what it was that we were hoping they would correct once we found out about it, but no.
I think by the time y'all found out about it, we'd done.
You already passed it. We had no idea. And look, we have some very bright,
Sure.
bright people but it said 0.85% of instead of 85% of.
It's just
Typo.
It's just a typo. Look,
So it's less than 1% where we're trying to get 85.
everybody, all kind of people read those bills. You got proofreaders that we pay for. You got all the stuff. Everybody reads those bills, and every bill that goes through there usually has some kind of mistake in it.
Right.
It's not caught.
Yeah.
So
Well, a lot of our bills every year are correcting, and it's not
Past.
us. It's been like that forever.
Right. We're all human.
yeah, I mean,
We're all human.
That's
and,
right.
and
We all make mistakes.
so it happens. It just did. Now there's other parts of that bill besides just eliminating income tax.
Right.
It cuts the grocery tax from 7% to 5%.
It
That's
does.
effective. That's effective. It's coming
I was
July the
fixing to
1st.
ask. That's effective immediately.
Yeah,
Right?
July
July
the 1st. Comes
Yeah,
comes
and it
into
doesn't
effect.
have the 1.5% sales tax in it.
There's no sales tax
You know,
increase. in it.
there was a 1, and
Right.
the original House bill had 1.5, and we left that out of ours, and so.
And then it's got a gas tax, which is an excise. It just simply increases the excise tax that where we're at 18 cents now. It does it 3 cents a year for the next 3 years for a total of 9 cents.
Okay.
Now what that does is it gives MDOT a dedicated stream of money that they need so that they know what they can do in terms of the money that we give to MDOT allows them to get federal money to
Matching money.
upkeep,
That's
matching money to upkeep the highways and to build new highways. So that just gives them a definitive answer as to where they are with the money that they need to go further.
And let me tell you, I've been reading some things that people have been posting and all about highways, and they said, "Oh, Mississippi highways are terrible. The interstate's terrible." And then some guy says, evidently, well, a guy from Pearl actually said, evidently, who lives down the coast now, he says, "You haven't been to Louisiana or Arkansas lately
Right.
because
You
their
have been to
highways
those
are
states.
bad."
Have you been to Tennessee?
Yeah. So I think our highways are in pretty good shape, but we want to continue. You can't just cut it off. I mean, you've got to have maintenance money, and so
Right. So you're guaranteeing MDOT basically a revenue stream.
Right, that's correct. An increase in their revenue stream, which they need. I'm not sure that was enough. I think it needed to be a little bit more. But again, we'll be back next year or the year after, and we can fix it then. But the
The
main
world's
thing,
not ending.
the main thing is that it's now, it just went out of my head, indexed, so that if inflation goes up, this will go up with it.
What if it goes the other way?
That don't index down.
What if it goes the other way? What if we bring in too much money? You know, I guess you could never bring in too much money.
Well, yeah, you can, and that's the problem with the budget right now. Why we're trying to do away with income tax. If you look at how much money we've been bringing in every year for the last bunch of years,
Yes.
we've been bringing in too much money. So
Yeah. And of course, you know, we've paid off close to $1 billion in
I was
debt.
going to say,
We've
but you
given-
can pay debt off with that.
We have,
You
and,
can have the rainy day funds.
We've given teachers pay raise, I guess, every year for the last several
So there's
years.
been some good things done with that.
We've given state employees pay raises. We've given state elected officials pay raises. Not the legislature. Again, the legislature hadn't had a pay raise. I want everyone to know that since either 1984 or 87.
I thought it was 82.
It was in the 80s
Has it
anyway.
really been that long?
Yeah, it's really been that long.
Yeah, we have not had any pay raises. So, but that's okay. And someone said, well, you knew what you were making when you got elected. No, we didn't. You don't, actually, I hate to say this, but you don't run for that office, or hopefully you don't run for that office to get paid. Anyway, it's
Right.
great that you get paid because you're losing money, not being able to make money somewhere else while you're
in
there.
your day job. Right.
Yeah. But no, there hadn't been a pay raise since the 80s for the
Don't you
legislature.
think that needs to be addressed?
Well, yeah.
Should it not be?
but-
I mean, we do want, I mean, you gentlemen are top notch, and I'm not just saying that because we're on TV. You gentlemen are top notch, but we want to continue having smart, top notch people from our community representing us. And as you just alluded to, you got to make it at least comparable to look, it's worth your time to go spend 3 months at the legislature.
Well, let me say something. So for me and the pro tem, it's easy. We live
Yes.
10 minutes from the
Correct.
Capitol.
That's right.
The guys that I don't know how they do it, and I'm being serious, is when you have an attorney from Corinth or from Pascagoula.
Right.
How
Tupelo.
do you operate a law practice when you're that far away and
Or just a private business.
it's just just an insurance guy. A guy has an insurance
Right,
agency,
right.
whatever it may be, whatever
Right.
they're doing. How do they do that? My desk mate is a nurse practitioner, has a clinic in Laurel or Ellisville, maybe one of those places down there, and it's got. I see him constantly run back and forth, trying to keep his business going while he's at the Capitol. So
And their families together.
yeah, and
Right.
keeping
Unfortunately,
families together
some-
and all that stuff. So
Right.
yeah,
So
so yeah,
that probably needs to be
We've had,
addressed.
I mean, I know of people that have been, and you almost have to be self-employed to be there or retired because of that. But
because of that reason. But
yeah,
we want nice.
But people have lost their businesses being in the legislature because they can't take care of it and be there too.
Right. We need to address. We need to address that.
we had a great
We really should.
senator from down at Simpson County that he worked in the banking business and his company finally just said, you've got to give that up.
You got to make a choice.
You got to make a choice. You're either going to do that or do this. And obviously, if you make a pretty good living making as a banker, you're going to have to give
You're
the
gonna have-
legislator up.
It was a very good senator too.
Right.
He was a great guy. Did a great job the whole time he was there. But you got to take care of your family and do what you got to do.
I think in the 21st century we need to address this.
Well, like I say, our statewide officials, when did we do them? A couple of years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
And what we did is we just looked at all the surrounding states and took an average, and that's what we gave them. That probably should be done with the legislature.
I think it should be. Matter of
yeah,
fact, y'all should co-author a bill together and say enough's enough. We should get this done. We should just fix it. And I think you could do other things as well because you do bring up a very valid point, especially in this day with the electronics that we have, the ability to do telemedicine. There's all kinds of things
That's
that you
right.
could do in the legislature where you can say, okay, we're going to meet on a Zoom call. We're going to do that 3 days a week. The other 2 days you're here. Why is that not possible in this day? And I'm just throwing this is throwing spaghetti against the wall. But I think there's things that you guys could do to, increase the pay and make it easier to
I
legislate.
think the biggest problem with the Zoom call idea is that you're taking the people out of it. Anybody can walk in that capsule up there and watch the sausage being made.
Yeah.
If you're on a Zoom call, you just can't have that many people on it, and so the people lose their contact with you. They can't sit in the galley and watch what's going on. They can't come up there and be around what's happening. So I just think to try to do it on a Zoom would not be beneficial to the people.
Yeah, I mean,
Put it out there.
not only can they come in and sit in the gallery, they can attend committee meetings. They can,
Right.
and not only that, all of ours now, almost I'd say 98% of our committee meetings are online. You can actually watch them online.
Right.
So I mean,
And we have members.
it's open.
We have members that will join the committee meetings on Zoom when we're in. It's just not very effective.
Yeah, I don't like Zoom. I think you should be there.
Well, I don't disagree with that to an extent. I'm just throwing out there. I think there's some things that you guys could look at doing. Because if you just mentioned this since '82, that's a long time ago. I think we need to adjust that. I'm for advocating. Let's adjust that in the next legislative session.
Well,
We
it
fix
should
that.
be, but people are afraid they won't be reelected if they vote for themselves a pay raise. So what do we do with like supervisors, as an example, in the county? We give them the authority to give themselves a raise, and they do, and blame us for it because we gave them that authority.
Well, you
Yeah.
gave it. You giveth, you taketh away. So I mean, there are okay.
Same thing, but
Right,
if we
right,
give
right,
ourselves
right.
one.
You need to
people
do that and
get
I
all
think-
upset because we.
Look,
we had one that passed a few years ago, or several years ago, $2,500 a year, and boy, we were all excited. And the governor vetoed it, and there wasn't enough votes to override his veto. Then he came back 2 weeks later and asked for a $20,000 raise effective immediately. I won't name the governor.
Right. Well.
And we gave it to him.
Oh my gosh.
So, but
Well-
he needed it. In all honesty, he was
But in all
underpaid
honesty,
compared
so
to
does
the
the-
others,
so does our
and
House
wasn't even the
and
highest
Senate.
paid statewide official at the time.
Right. But I
And the governor should
So
be.
do you guys. And I'm sorry that you're last. You seem to be least of the, but
We've
so
been
do
there.
you. So do you guys, and that needs to be corrected in all seriousness. And the people in Mississippi, we're smart people. We understand, and to worry about whether you're going to get reelected or not, I think is the wrong thinking. And any
Yes.
elected official out there who thinks that way is wrong thinking.
That's right.
That
That's
this-
not why you're there.
That is not why you're there.
You're there to do the
and
right
if you
thing.
think that way, then maybe you need to be replaced. But anyway, you need a raise.
Anyway, we might could do something like what Kansas did or something. They appointed a commission, and the commission looked at all the salaries around and then set the compensation of the legislature based on what other places were doing, and
Sure.
they put a cost of living deal in it and all that stuff. So yeah, you could look at something like that, but
Right.
it's most of those guys just aren't going to vote for a straight pay raise. I just
Right.
don't believe they will.
Well, we should discuss that. So
And,
anyway,
and that's not why we're there.
So-
But you should be, in all fairness, you should be compensated.
you're
for
there
what
as a
you're
servant,
losing.
and you should be compensated. That is correct.
To help make
100%.
up for some of
And
what
if
you're
we could get a
losing.
tax bill passed, and you guys can come together and make that work for the citizens of Mississippi, the citizens of Mississippi can give you a pay raise. That's Frank's opinion. Frank's opinion. No one else
I
is.
think everyone else has received one, and especially
It's your turn.
Well, what I said years ago, let's just tie ours into the teacher pay raise, or let's tie it into the judges' pay raise. Anytime they get one, we get one.
There you
Or
go.
tie it into the federal government. They get one every year.
Sure.
The legislators up there.
Right.
Tie it into something, then we're not having to make that hard decision. But
Yeah, just attach it to something else.
and I don't care if it's 1%.
Just something.
Yeah.
Just something. But my stance on this is literally I want to make sure we're getting good qualified people running for office.
Well,
And it's
that
gotta
is
be,
important.
And it has to be worth their while. to do
I know a guy right now that wanted to run for office, and he said, "I can't afford to run for that.
Exactly.
It'd be too much of a pay
Right.
cut. I can't do it."
Exactly.
That's like, what is it, New Hampshire, where they don't get paid anything, and the only people that are in a legislature in New Hampshire is farmers,
Yeah.
because they're the only ones that can take off and go
Yeah, during that part
During
of the
that
year.
time.
that part of the
year.
year. So they're the only ones that's there. So
Well, we've got a lot of retired people
Mm-hmm.
and self-employed, and that's pretty much it.
Right.
'Cause
That's a
nobody
lot
else
of
can
that's a lot
afford
of
to do
seasoned
that.
knowledge too, that you bring to the table. You know, that's a lot of life lessons in living. And I agree with all of that, but I do think that we need to increase that. So, all right, tax bill.
there's one other part of the tax bill we didn't talk about.
What's that?
HB 1 that was added by the Senate.
Okay.
The Senate added PERS language.
Oh yes, that's
Oh,
where I was
yeah, we
headed
did.
next. They did add PERS language, so let's talk about it. What did you guys add?
Well, I think both sides wanted Tier 5.
Yes. There's no question about that.
And we took the recommendation of the
The PERS
PERS
board.
board and took what they did, and we passed that now. So
it was
Tier
the PERS
5 meaning
board's
new
recommendation.
employees starting March of next year.
March of 26.
Yeah. So anyone that's an employee or a retiree right now or before March 1st next year,
Doesn't affect
nothing changes.
Yeah, let's just get
Yeah.
that straight right now. If you're on PERS, if you're drawing PERS right now, if you're employed by some entity that you have PERS that you're going to benefit from, doesn't affect you.
Doesn't affect you at all.
Quit worrying about it.
Right.
Now, if you got a grandson or a son or somebody who's looking to get employed by an entity with PERS and you wanted them to have your same PERS benefits, unless they can get employed before March 1st of next year, it's going to be different.
Yeah. And some say that the Tier 5 may be better because it is a hybrid plan of like a 401k
Right.
and then the state plan as we have it now, 50-50 deal. And I've seen numbers where actually they could, according to the economy and everything else, but they could be better off.
Right.
It is
possible.
and I'm going to tell you, they say, oh, young people are not going to we're not going to get young state employees or teachers or whatever because of the retirement. That's the one thing we sell is the retirement plan. Well, first off, most people in their 20s don't care about a retirement plan.
No, they don't.
To be honest with
They're
you,
not
they care
thinking
about
about
how
it.
much are they going to take home and how they're going to
Correct.
pay the bills. And
Right.
and we have gotten those salaries, as we've talked about. We've gotten those salaries up. But they have, for the last several years, the young people have been asking for a 401k type program. That's what people don't understand. They want that. So we're giving them what they want.
Well-
But the main thing we're doing is everyone said last year, leave our board alone. Leave our PERS board alone. We did. Now the PERS board makes a recommendation. They said, don't listen to the PERS board. So you can't play both
have it
ways.
both ways.
Yeah,
Pick
so
one.
we took what PERS recommended, the board that the people wanted to keep, and we passed it. And I think, honestly, I think it's a good plan. But I do know that we couldn't keep guaranteeing the COLA and some other things that are in the retirement system now, and and expect it. If you're in a hole and digging, quit digging.
Quit digging.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
that's kind of what we've done.
Right.
You know, there's changes in it, like, you now, it's a minimum of 35 years, and you have to be 65 to start drawing it. I mean, you can retire after 35 years, but you got to be 65 before you can start drawing that retirement.
Yeah. And on the Tier 5 also, we left the 4 years for military time. You get I think if you're there 8 years, then you get 4 years of military time added to it.
To that.
Yeah, we left that alone. Didn't touch that at all. We did away with the SLRP, which was a legislative deal, and that's gone. And golly, some other changes. Now, I will tell you this: we did not in any way touch the highway patrol. It was a separate retirement.
I was
program.
fixing to ask. That's a whole separate one.
It's excluded. It's not in there.
So
it's just like it.
PERS as
no
we know it
change.
now is excluded.
Yes.
Highway patrol is excluded.
Yeah.
It's just the new one. What are we calling them?
Well, the new highway patrolman will even be under the old program.
Right.
Yeah.
Under their old program.
Right. What are we
Yeah.
calling this Tier 5? New?
Although they're saying we're going to have to do something with that one too, because
Really?
it's not sustainable the way it is. It's going.
Yeah.
they-
It's going
you
to
know,
collapse.
Well, they don't have enough highway patrolmen working to sustain it in the long run.
Now, I've heard talk in the legislature, bringing in some funding from gaming. Yes,
We don't know.
I saw a number like $100 million a year for like the next
Well,
5 years.
that was in the original HB1 was to take the lottery money that we were using in highway based on what we were doing with the sales tax, to use that money to come up with PERS. Now
Okay.
we're just talking about just adding $100 million a year for
Out of general fund.
out of the general funds.
Okay.
And I think that will happen. We're going to make sure the retirees are taken care of. I can promise
And
you
here,
that.
you meet every year.
I don't
It's
make a
not
lot
like
of
you can't
promises.
fix it.
And we have to, number one is, the $26 billion that's going to happen in 30 years. We have to see how this tier 5 is going to affect that projected number.
Sure.
Because it should reduce it, in my opinion.
Yes, with the economy,
You
with
never
the
know.
things that, right? You never know. But I would say that people are more bullish on the economy, even though maybe the stock market doesn't necessarily represent that right now. But I think more people.
Stock market was up last week.
It has kind of tickle. We were going to. Everybody's so
Went
scared.
down pretty quickly there.
Everybody's
for a
so
while.
scared of tariffs, but they shouldn't be. Tariffs are a good thing, but I think that getting out the crystal ball over the next 5-6 years, the economy looks pretty solid. I mean, there's so much money coming back that's being repatriated in the United States. There's so many companies that are talking about spending billions of dollars in the country.
I think that's wonderful.
I think that's great, but that's going to boost our economy. And it may make that 401k, that tier 5 plan, people may be going, golly, I wish I'd gotten on that plan.
Why didn't we change everyone? Well, because we took the recommendation of the PERS board.
Word for word.
There you go.
We took the recommendation of the PERS board, and that's what we got.
That's right.
Off to the governor's desk. He signs it, when's he supposed to sign it?
Well,
He's got till the end of the week. I
End of the
think.
week?
yeah, and of course, like I say, there's another bill out there dealing with the same issue.
Okay,
We'll probably pass that.
okay.
And we'll probably send it to the House. Now, whether or not they'll take it, don't know. If they do, then it goes to the governor. If he doesn't sign it, if he signs it, then it replaces the one that's there now. If he doesn't sign it, if he doesn't sign it in 5 days, it becomes law.
Right.
So he'll veto it, possibly, and if he may just sign it, saying this is a better bill. But if he vetoes it, then both chambers have to override his veto.
Right.
And I'm not sure. I don't know if the votes will be there for that.
I was
or
going to
not.
ask, so this bill that's coming out of the Senate, is it a better bill than?
Well, it may override because of the fact that even those that are against it might think this is a better bill,
Right.
and more frugal or
Sure.
tight bill than the one that he signed.
Got it.
So I don't know. We're still at a standstill as to where we are.
Okay.
We're working though. I promise you. We're
Oh
working.
yeah, it's crunch time. We're right down here on at the end, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
crunch time.
I don't know that we'll pass it. Don't know that the House will take it. There's a lot of I don't knows there, and then I don't know if the governor would sign it. And then if he vetoes, I don't know if we have the votes to override. So there's a lot of I don't
There's a
know.
lot of I don't knows on that one.
Yeah, I can't speak. for
Maybe you could give us an update next week
yeah,
on where that one is.
yeah, possibly.
Right, because next Mondays, we've only got a couple more of these while y'all are in session, technically.
Yeah,
In the
and
normal
I'm not
session.
sure that we'll be able to do it this next week.
I mean, we may.
We may go in it early Monday morning.
Right.
To try to get through. Not that day, but
Right,
try
right.
to get through
Cross
We,
the
don't,
few
we,
days.
we still
of it.
don't know whether we're having conference weekend this weekend.
Right. You
That-
don't know
that
yet.
hasn't been decided.
Don't know yet.
because we
Yeah,
got so
I
many
would-
bills that,
Yeah.
that we're pretty
Sure.
close on. They could just all go forward.
Right.
Everything could just come together, and it just we go sign it die Friday. Who knows?
I would
Right. And everything
I'd
will be
put
fine.
an 80% chance we're working Saturday and Sunday afternoon. Well, all day Saturday and Sunday afternoon, and Sunday night.
And Sunday night.
Yeah, and Monday
And Monday
morning.
morning.
Yeah, early.
Trying to get it done.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you're a week. At that point, you're a week.
Yeah.
By next week, you're 1 week left. All right.
It's we've had
full
fun.
week.
It's very tiring.
Very tiring.
People are right now. Legislators are tired. Some are very angry. They didn't get what they wanted, and they're going to be more angry. Some of them when bills don't come out of conference or they don't get the special project they wanted for their city or county. So
Right.
yeah, it's hopefully we'll be civil about it and not have any fights or anything up there. It's not fighting, by the way, with the House and Senate like people think. It's the Senate fighting with each other and the House fighting with each other.
Internal. Right. It's
Yeah,
internal.
to try to get the bill
Yeah.
so it can go the other
Would
side.
you say it's a wrangling inside each one? Is that what it is? More of a rodeo? It's a wrangling?
Yeah.
You're wrangling the bill?
More or less.
More or less. More or less.
But we'll get there, and like I said, there's going to be some upset people. Always is. This session's no different than any other
Than any
session.
other.
Sometimes we have different issues, but we always have the problems at the end try to work them out. And as Gene said, if the worst comes to worst on some of these bills and nothing happens, there's always next year.
True. Just wait 9
It
months.
takes normally 3 years
That's
to pass something.
Any good
Which is
bill,
what we led the year off with. It takes 3 years to pass.
Really, any good bill that would be halfway complicated takes three years, at least 3 years to pass.
A good bill.
A good bill.
Right.
I'm talking about.
A good bill. Because it's been washed
But
a lot
there's
of
two
times.
sides to every story.
Sure.
And what's good for some is not good for others. What's good for possibly Hinds County may not be good for Rankin County. We're
Right.
not going to always agree.
Right. So let's talk about this judicial, redistricting.
Redistricting.
We've talked about a little bit. Where are we on this, Senator?
And conference.
And we're in conference, but I will tell you this. I've talked to the chairman and the leadership, and Rankin will not be affected. How about that?
At all.
Rankin and Madison County
Stay the same.
will stay the same. I've
Okay.
been told that and promised that.
By
So,
both chairmen
Okay.
on both sides.
So nothing changes for us here
Nothing changes for us here.
this year.
This year. You're
This
right. Anything can happen.
Subject to change next year. I mean, we both have sat at this table on this program and said that same thing. Nothing changes now. But we do know that the caseload, there's a possibility
It's
down the
got
road.
to change somewhere in the
It's
future.
going to have to change.
We're
in
trying
the
to
future.
get some additional
Right.
assistant DAs right now.
Right.
And we've got some, and of course, we're not the only county that does this, I've been told, but the county's paying for some of those assistant DAs where the state should be paying for it. But if you look at the caseload for Rankin Madison County, we have earned and deserve additional with pay, additional
And maybe our own district.
DAs.
ADAs and
Assistant DAs or something.
the ADAs and the investigators that go
Sure,
with them.
that goes along with that, exactly.
Hopefully we'll work that out. Like I say, Rankin, other than we won't, like everybody else, we want more.
Of course.
But we want to stay on top of crime over here.
We're not the only district, I'm sure, that has the same
Oh, no.
dynamic as us. I mean, I'm sure there's other large areas that have similar.
Look, I sit in the chamber next to the chairman who makes that decision. And I can't tell you, nearly every senator in there has stood beside him, and I've listened, of course, and we've got to have more, we're behind the others, and the same thing we're saying. But they're not. I mean, we've got the numbers. And the whole problem with having the assistant DAs is the way they count the court cases. I even had a peer committee look at it, and some counties, if a person's arrested and has 4 charges, they count that as 4. We in Rankin count that as 1 person.
Right, you count by person. not
And so
charges,
they're
right.
showing more, but actually may not even have half as many as we do.
Right.
So
We need to
we've
get
got to
everybody
get
on the
that
same. We
straightened
got to
out.
get everybody on the same page. on
Absolutely.
How you do your statistics.
Absolutely.
Maybe we should start there.
And that's made it very difficult for the chairman because they don't know what the true numbers are.
Right.
Or either we're going to start counting like they do.
Well, they probably
we gotta do
wouldn't-
something.
They probably wouldn't like that very much.
Yeah. But anyway,
Okay.
we're lucky here.
Right.
We've got
Right.
a good
We
DA and assistant DAs. We just need some more.
And we are tough on crime.
We are
Madison
tough
and
on
Rankin.
crime.
Tough on crime. We allow citizens to be citizens, but don't break the law. And I think that's why you see Madison, Rankin County, we're just explosive in growth. Is
That's
because
right.
it's a safe place to live. It's a safe place to raise a family. It's a safe place to own a business. It's a good place.
Well, it
You
is.
gotta
We
have
a good
judicial to
school
do
system, good school system,
Right.
A safe place to live, and
Exactly.
lower on taxes. It's
Exactly.
important.
But it's very civil here. All right.
And
so,
we got some doggone good folks that live
and we
in
do
Rankin.
have, especially down in Puckett. Not picking on Puckett. I'm just playing. Y'all, if you know, you know. Well, I said that. All right. So, one of the things that we'll cover real fast, because we've talked about the Promise Act, is the school choice, but it's also the Promise Act where you could get a higher tax deduction donating to like a charter school or a private school from an individual. We're talking about individuals here.
Or businesses.
Or businesses. And that died.
It died. It was the money was primarily designed for handicapped students or students
Special
with
needs.
Special needy children.
Right.
Yes.
That go to these special schools that need class stuff, schools outside what the public education can give, and that's what it's designed for. And this was just going to raise the limits at the money that could be given,
Right.
and that died.
And,
So that was the
and,
last.
and again, we're talking about being spoiled in Rankin County, and we are.
Right.
But a lot of these counties don't have the care for special needs children like we do in
Like
Rankin.
we do here.
Yeah.
Right. And so many people want to come here because of that.
Yeah.
If you have a special needs child.
But
You
I
wanna
know
be here.
that we have like the Palmer House as an example in Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Canopy. We've got all these that take care of these special needs kids, and we need to help those kids.
And you can't fund them statewide. You can't fund it because it's against our Constitution.
Right.
But by allowing a business or an individual to have a higher tax deduction, that allows them to bring in more money.
That's correct.
And I don't know why we would want to kill that, but it did die. Maybe it'll come back next year. But now school,
Didn't have the votes passed.
right? School choice, dead.
School choice is dead.
Kind of
Yeah.
part of that.
Yeah.
So no school choice this year at all.
Well, it's actually school choice is dead.
Yeah, it's
It's not dead.
Right, but it's dead.
It's dead.
So by next Friday, it could be dead.
It could be.
This year.
Of next week, yeah.
This year.
You
But no
never
school
know.
choice.
Like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're
Never
going to
know.
get. That's
You
right.
never know. Well, it's been fun. This has been a wild ride
It
so
has.
far.
It has.
And it's just going to speed up on the downhill. It's going to speed up a little bit.
And on the, I will throw in one other thing that they haven't talked about at all, and that's reapportionment, redistricting of the legislators in NAACP, as you know, filed.
Oh, yeah, I was
we
kinda
did all
leaving that- right, right.
So we passed another bill doing exactly what the courts in the Senate and the House did the same thing. NAACP has filed again for the House district and for the Senate district, and they've sent 3 maps to the judges saying this is better. I think the map that we pass and they pass are very fair, and it did exactly what the courts asked them to do. And hopefully the judges will approve that and not draw their district lines because they don't know the people, they don't know who's effective, they don't know not just the legislators, they don't know the people in that district and how they feel. So, and our legislators do. And anyway, hopefully they'll take our maps and that'll be over. But they got to do something pretty quickly because qualifying deadline, start qualifying like May the 16th or 19th, I can't remember, and then they got till May the 30th to qualify to run in those districts.
Right. So they're going to have to take this up quick.
Yeah.
This can't just
We've
linger.
got,
Or they're going to have to punt it.
yeah. Now, my understanding in Hattiesburg area, on the Senate side, they're perfectly happy. They didn't have anything down south; they just had north. DeSoto County people aren't happy.
Right.
Anytime you have to run again, you're not happy.
Sure.
So the
get it.
legislators are not real excited about it, but we'll do what the courts
Right.
ordered us to do.
Indeed. Thank you. Gene, you want to tag Go Vote April
Yes,
1st?
I do. I want everybody to go vote April 1st. I want everybody to go vote before April 1st. You can go all during the week to the city clerk's office and on Saturdays till noon. You can go vote. And that's not just in Pearl. Brandon, Florence, Richland,
Flowood.
Flowood,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Puckett,
Pelahatchie,
Pelahatchie, wherever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Please take the time to go vote.
And remember in Pearl that you vote at one precinct
You
at
do.
the Muse Center. Everyone votes there.
And I think it's the same way it is in Brandon, votes at City Hall, and
Right.
every place is voting in single places now. So just if you don't know where to vote, find out. Go to City Hall and vote early if you can. If not, find out exactly where you vote and go vote.
Reach out. 601-932-2262.
And as I've said, everyone's vote counts.
It
And your
does.
vote's just as important as anyone else's vote.
And you've given examples.
And that's right. And if you don't vote, you really don't have a right to complain.
No, you don't.
And Jackson,
If you vote, then you can say, I didn't vote for that sorry sucker. Or I did vote for him and he's doing a great job and I'm proud of it.
Right.
you're still voting in your precinct. So if you don't know where your precinct is, find out and go vote. It's important.
It is.
It's important to you. It really is important to you. Go vote.
It is probably one of your most important civic duties.
It is
is.
the most important thing that you can do.
The old
Right.
saying,
You go.
people fought and died for that right.
They did.
And you owe it to those soldiers
Yeah.
and people that committed their lives, basically, to give you
Yes.
that right.
Exactly. It needs to be done. Go vote.
Go vote.
And I got an email not too long ago from a lady who was distressed about having to go to the Muse Center. She said, I have bad knees, it's going to be difficult in the parking lot, what if it's raining?
no.
And I try to tell everybody, there's going to be golf carts picking you up from your car, will take you right to the front door, and then take you right back to your car.
Oh,
and they're covered, and there'll be some nice gentlemen there that are firemen that are going to help you.
Absolutely.
And they're going to keep you dry or warm or
Or-
safe or whatever you need.
Or people that can't walk at all. And
Yes.
They can drive up.
They can drive right up to the front door.
Absolutely.
There are going to be
Oh,
people there.
they'll bring it to you,
If
to
it-
your
if need
car,
be. That's
if you
right.
call them and let them know.
Yeah. So I try to tell everybody it's a good thing to go there. It's easy to get in, it's easy to get out, and for those that are challenged handicap-wise, we've got you covered.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
We want everyone to vote.
Yes, we do. Come vote.
And if you vote early, go vote early. Go
Come see Kelly in the clerk's office. She will help you from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And this Saturday, the last day you can vote absentee from 8 to noon in the clerk's office this Saturday.
Well, it's very important, and thank you for bringing that up.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thank
I
you.
look forward to this week and what's going to happen. We'll be watching.
Well, when Gene was elected, he didn't have gray hair. And just like that, he's gray. And when I was elected, if you'll look, I had a lot of hair. And I don't know.
You need to go back and find one from from original when your freshman year.
Man.
Need to go back.
I
and
looked at it
It's
last.
on the wall.
I
I
know,
looked
right?
at it last week, thinking,
Did
what
you really?
happened?
Where's that guy?
Yeah. Now I look in the mirror and see my dad.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Are we having fun? You having a good time?
Most days, yeah.
Yeah.
Most
You know, we try to throw a little fun in with it every
Sure,
once in a while. In
sure.
the Senate, I don't know if the House says anything like this or not, but we have a gold thumb. I know you've probably never heard of the gold
No,
thumb.
I haven't.
It's about this tall, and it's a big thumb.
Okay.
It's like a trophy type thing,
Okay.
big. And if someone really says something stupid,
It's the
then they get the gold thumb. Now, yes, I have had the gold thumb. Once is all though, but I did. I've made a an error, but give an example of what can be, how you get the gold thumb. Some that used to be in the House now, they'll say Mr. Speaker instead of Mr. President. And we had a guy that Senator Blackwell always does the announcing for recess, that type deal. And the other day he said, I moved the Senate standing recess till 5 p.m., at which time we'll adjourn until 4 a.m. Monday.
Oops. You
And
would say PM.
But a.m.? Oh, I meant p.m. Yeah.
Gold thumb. So it's the
So
duck
yeah, if you say something really stupid, you get the gold thumb.
You get the
and
gold
I
thumb.
think we've all had it.
Everybody's
Some
had
have had it several times.
So it's a lot of fun to pass it around.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah.
And I know what the House did one time years ago. They would have a necktie that had more food on it that they couldn't really tell what color the tie was, and someone would wear that tie. And in the House, they really did this. And if someone said, "What happened to your tie?" or what, you had to wear it that day until someone commented on it, and they would pass that tie around.
Pass it around.
So yeah, we do have some
do
fun.
have some fun.
We don't have that one anymore. But what we have is if you make the mess up like what he was talking about, they have a couple of jars that has chicken manure in them, and they put those on your toes.
Those jars.
I'd rather have the thumb.
That's pretty funny though. So you just get the chicken jar.
Yeah. You don't want the chicken jar.
You don't want the chicken jar.
So we do throw a little fun in with it.
Right. Well, you got to have some fun and some camaraderie, and I know y'all enjoy seeing all
And we have some really good legislators.
Sure.
Not just in Rankin. I'm talking about from
Just all
other
across the
counties.
state,
We have some totally dedicated people, and
even
I'm
some
very
on the
proud
other side of
them.
the aisle.
Both sides.
Right.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
Right.
We in the Mississippi legislature in both the House and the Senate, we're divided on very few issues. If you go listen to us vote or watch our board write up,
Right.
most of the time it's
It's not party line.
it's not party line. It's just you have one or two people that will vote present all the time. You got one or two people that vote against everything. So you
Yeah.
got those guys, but for the most part, we vote together.
Right.
We do. Most of the bills, are worked out. They're not necessarily House bills or Senate bills. They're good bills.
Right. And y'all work together to get them done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you came from.
And they have issues with, people have issues with some of the things that you do, but the reality of it is, tomorrow we got to work together. Yeah, you can't get mad and throw a fit. You just gotta when you lose, you pick it up and you get back in the game, and
Right.
because tomorrow you got to have that person playing with you to get where you want to go.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm glad y'all are having a good time, and thank you for spending your Monday mornings with me and updating our citizens as to where everything is and how y'all are making the sausage.
Yeah.
We do appreciate it very much.
We appreciate you
Thank you.
giving
Thank
us
you.
the opportunity.
I look forward to the next one
All right.
because we'll find out a lot more.
Well, we'll know. What
Yeah.
sausage was made and what was thrown
We'll
away.
definitely know which one was made and which one went bad, and we'll know that. All right, guys, thank you very much. So we're going to step aside just a quick second and hear what our mayor has to say about our city. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's going on, including that election coming up in April. So don't go anywhere.
Hello, I'm Mayor Wyndham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here, you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Welcome back to This Week in Pearl. Again, I'm your host, Frank Hutton, and that was very eye-opening. Certainly enjoyed them sharing the stories right there at the end about the gold thumb and the chicken jar. That's pretty funny. Of course, those are things that you wouldn't know unless you're absolutely there and watching and paying attention. But I do appreciate our guest coming in today and explaining to us what took place this week with HB1 and the taxes and the PERS funding and school choice, all of those things. So I really appreciate those gentlemen for updating us and look forward to the next time. All right, so what's going on in Pearl? Well, as Representative Newman alluded, we do have an election coming up. Definitely want to make sure you come vote for that. It will be April the 1st. Polls open at 7 at the Clyde Muse Center. It's one polling location, just one. So you're going to want to be at the Muse Center. Polls open at 7. They go all day till 7. So it's 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So all awards are voting in one spot. Now, if you're problem with walking or wheelchair, anything like that, there will be golf carts that will be running people from their cars in the parking lot up to the front door of the Muse Center, so you don't have to worry about walking long distances. Definitely make sure you go vote, exercise your right as a citizen by all means, April the 1st. All right, what else do we have coming up? Well, we have the Mayor's Easter egg hunts coming up on April the 19th. That's a Saturday at 10 a.m. It's going to happen right out between the grass space there. It's kind of on the east side of our senior services building, kind of where the old ECEC building used to be. There's a nice flat grass space. That's where that will take place. And it's between like the library, the community center, and senior services. So if you kind of think about that spot right there, that grassy area, that's where that happens. That is going to be for the kids, 10 a.m. on Saturday, April the 19th. And then afterwards, you're going to have an event. Let's see if I can get it here. My screen's rolled up. You've got a Main Street Pearl presenting Adult Night. That's going to be Saturday, April the 19th. So that's going to start at 6 p.m. on City Hall Complex. That night is basically for people 21 and older. It's a glow-in-the-dark Easter egg hunt for all the big kids in us that don't get to do that anymore, as well as karaoke going on that night. There's going to be concessions available. There'll be beer available. There's going to be terrific nutrition from Pearl there. So you'll be able to not only come enjoy some food, fun, and beverages, but also sing karaoke that night and do a glow-in-the-dark Easter egg hunt. That should be kind of interesting and fun. But that also happens in the exact same place as I mentioned on the other. And then also coming up on April the 26th, Pearl Day. Pearl Day is going to happen. Starts off in the park. Definitely want to go over there and see all the vendors. There's going to be music going on in the park. I think there's all kinds of arts and crafts, merchandise, things of that nature that'll be happening in the park. And then that evening, you're going to want to make your way over to the northeast parking lot there at Trustmark Park, because Warrant kicks off at 7, and then Brett Michaels at 8:45. You know, the front man for Poison, he is here. That will be our big Pearl Day concert that night, wrapping up Pearl Day. So you definitely want to be here for April the 26th, and that is free. All of that. So thank you so much for tuning in with us this week. Very informative. Enjoyed this show as we do every single time we do this. Love bringing all this to you. And thank you for tuning in. So until next time, I'm your host, Frank. I'll see you later. Have a good week.